I've had a long career in teaching, longer than most. And it has been a journey of self-discovery just as much as a career. I take great satisfaction in this journey because I basically returned to my family roots, you could say. And I feel so comfortable working with groups of teachers or parents to pass on this emotion-focused approach to understanding children and teens' emotions under stress. I was quite well prepared early in my life for the noise and happy chaos of schools and classrooms because I come from a large family and I practically raised my younger brothers and little sister. So I knew how to manage children's feelings and keep them interested. Also, I made my first $1 million babysitting in the neighborhood. So it was natural that I made my second million, coming from teaching. However, instead of the warm and fuzzy relationships with kids that I knew, teacher training introduced me to a whole other culture of behavior management and ideas about motivation, discipline, and curriculum. So it used to feel bad. It felt like a clash of cultures because teacher training at that time was hyper-focused on behavior methods, which tended to pressure kids with consequences to behave and learn at the same pace, or they would fail the grade. And this actually damaged relationships with kids and nudged out creative teaching ideas. Classrooms were still organized in like rows of desks and the strap was still used. So frustrated principals were allowed to hit children. And there were crazy ideas like new schools were built with no windows, or the windows were so high up on the wall so kids wouldn't waste time looking outside and daydreaming, as if teachers were incapable of holding their attention. New classrooms had no walls, which was supposed to facilitate team teaching, but was more likely a budget tightening measure because, how many classrooms do you see now with no walls? Didn't catch on. I was a special education teacher, so students coming to me were taken out of regular classrooms and put into small groups with more time and attention to meet their needs. So I was able to dodge a lot of these so-called innovations. I would never send students to the office for fear they would be strapped. Instead, I needed good communication with their parents to keep kids in line. I could bypass curriculum somewhat to follow student interests and use my own creativity. I really enjoyed this work, but I felt like out of sync with the views of the day since behavior methods were so prominent in schools. And there was an undisputed assumption that learning equals thinking, that cognition was king. No one was talking about the role of emotions. But back to today. Today, the term attachment has still not managed to replace the old view of child behavior and the supremacy of cognition for learning, although I am encouraged that today's schools are addressing topics like trauma and resilience, embodiment and sovereignty and mindfulness, because attachment encompasses all of these topics. In fact, attachment is recognized across many professions internationally as the most comprehensive account of child development and caregiver relationships and personality development, with long-term effects on social adjustment in life, emotion regulation, mental health, and even couples relationships. So attachment is that big. European cultures have been much quicker to adopt attachment approaches, but it's still underutilized in schools in North America. So I continue to speak to educators and parents whenever I can about the wisdom of attachment and the sturdy emotion-focused framework that it provides.